There's only one thing you have absolute control over: your mind. Not your job, not the economy, not your past. Just your thoughts, your responses. Your discipline. And if you learn to rule that no one, nothing, and no circumstance can break you. The world will test you. People will disappoint you. Life will throw shadows at your light. But do you know what separates the man who breaks from the man who builds? Mental sovereignty. That unshakable calm when the storm hits. That inner stillness that says, I don't need to fight chaos, I just need to not let it in. If you've ever felt like your emotions run your day, if you've ever snapped, doubted yourself, or gave up too early, this video is your blueprint. Because building wealth without building a strong inner world is like building a mansion on sand. Today, you'll learn how to build a mind that doesn't fold, a mindset rooted in clarity, courage, and strategic faith. This isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. It's about mastering your reactions so you can lead yourself like a man with purpose. Let's go deeper. Rockefeller called it mental authority. The ability to choose your thoughts before the world chooses them for you. Every empire begins with an idea, but only if that idea is mastered. Most people never build anything meaningful. Not because they lack ideas, but because they never take authority over them. Here's what that means for you. You can't control the weather. You can't control opinions. You can't control how others treat you, but you can refuse to hand over your peace to people or things that haven't earned that power. That's mental authority, and it's not just a mindset. It's a leadership skill. Rockefeller lived by this. He didn't just manage oil. He managed pressure, panic, recession, public hate. And yet, he moved like a man with vision, because he had one rule. The moment you lose control of your thoughts, you lose control of your future. You need that same edge. In today's world, loud, reactive, emotional, you will be tested. But the men who rise, they don't explode. They observe. They process. They act with precision. That kind of man isn't just successful. He's respected, and respect is the foundation of true wealth. You want to build a legacy? Start with building a mind that cannot be manipulated. You are not here to react. You are here to lead first yourself, then your family, then your future. John D. Rockefeller once said, "Success comes from keeping the mind clear and the actions consistent. Wealth follows order, not emotion." Let that sink in. Most men dream big, but they fall at the same spot, the gap between intention and action. That gap? Rockefeller called it the bridge of self-discipline. Because you can have the best ideas in the world. You can read every book, follow every strategy, pray with faith. But if you lack the discipline to apply, nothing changes. Discipline is invisible, but it shapes everything you touch. It's what makes you get up when no one's watching. It's what stops you from chasing temporary pleasure. It's what allows you to say no today because you see the prize that hasn't arrived yet. Rockefeller built his empire by doing the same few things every day with ruthless consistency. No excuses. No, I'll do it when I feel ready. Just execution. And he would tell you today, don't train your emotions. Train your habits. That's where power lives. Discipline is the muscle that lets you lead under pressure. It's how you build trust with yourself. And trust is the currency of legacy. When you keep your word to yourself, even in silence, you build something stronger than wealth. Character. That's what your family needs. That's what your business needs. That's what you need to become a man people follow, respect, and remember. But here's the catch. Discipline is not about perfection. It's not about being emotionless. It's about acting with purpose, not impulse. Rockefeller didn't get there by being the smartest. He got there by being the most consistent. So ask yourself today, Am I building my life on convenience or commitment? Discipline doesn't scream. It doesn't post on Instagram. It simply builds quietly until you become undeniable. You want to win in business, in marriage, in legacy? Start with the bridge. Because without discipline, your vision dies. In your journal, Rockefeller would look you in the eye and say, "You don't need more motivation. You need structure. You need a system, and then just show up. Every day. Even when no one's clapping. Even when it's boring. That's how empires are built. Asterisk. Rockefeller wasn't loud. He wasn't flashy. He was calm, observant, dangerous. In his silence, he knew something most men ignore. The man who speaks less controls more. We live in a noisy world. Everyone wants to prove something. Everyone reacts, defends, argues, shouts. But the strong? They stay silent, not because they're weak, but because they've already won inside. Rockefeller once said, "Success is found in those who think deeply and speak with precision." Silence is your force field. It protects your peace. It gives you time to process, calculate, and move with intention, not emotion. The rich don't waste energy explaining themselves. They don't defend every decision. They build while others argue, and when they act. People ask, where did that confidence come from? It came from the silence you underestimated. You want to be uncheckable? Learn to stay quiet when the world tries to provoke you, because here's the truth. Your reaction is often your biggest enemy. It exposes you. It drains you. It gives power to what doesn't deserve it. But your stillness? That terrifies people. Why? Because it means you're in control. You could explode. You could fight back. But you choose victory over reaction. Rockefeller would look you dead in the eyes and say, "Don't let the world decide your behavior. Command it with silence." Real men don't need to yell to prove they're powerful. They simply move with purpose. Let your decisions speak. Let your focus speak. Let your results speak. And when the noise gets loud, stand still, watch, choose your move carefully, because while others are screaming for attention, you'll be quietly building a legacy they'll never understand. You think strength is about feeling less? It's not. Real strength is not the absence of emotion. It's the ability to decide what to do with it. Rockefeller didn't rise to power because he felt nothing. He rose because he never let emotions drive the ship. Anger? He redirected it into structure. Fear? He channeled it into preparation. Doubt? He answered it with results. The undisciplined mind is the enemy of every dream, Napoleon Hill wrote. Here's what that means for you. Anger makes you act too fast. Anxiety makes you quit too early. Loneliness makes you settle for less than you're worth. But self-control? It makes you free. It gives you space between stimulus and reaction. It lets you pause, breathe, choose. That's what separates a man who leads from a man who crumbles. You've got goals. You've got legacy on your mind. You want to lead your family, your business, your mission. But you can't do that if your emotions are the ones making decisions. And no, this doesn't mean being robotic. It means being anchored. Calm under fire. Clear in chaos. Because if you only act when you feel good, you'll never get far. Success requires emotional consistency, not emotional comfort. Rockefeller would say, control your emotions.
Or your emotions will control your outcomes. And when you learn to do that,
you become rare. You become stable. You become the kind of man people trust, even in storms. So next time the pressure rises, don't react. Don't explain. Don't defend. Observe. Decide. Move with clarity. That's how leaders are built. Not by shouting, but by choosing their response like a general chooses his next move with intention. And once you master that, You don't just win in business. You win in life. Asterisk, asterisk, let me be direct. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your discipline, not your friends, not your coworkers, not even your past self. Rockefeller didn't stop to explain every decision. He didn't waste energy trying to be understood. He moved with clarity and let results speak. And that's what you need to do now. Because every time you explain your ambition to someone who doesn't share it, you drain energy that should have gone into building your vision. Napoleon Hill sighed. Opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. And he was right. You're not here to please. You're not here to convince. You're here to build. Let others think you've changed. Let them say you're distant, obsessed, not the same anymore. Good. That's exactly what happens when a man upgrades his standard. You want to command respect. Stop asking for permission. Stop apologizing for going quiet. Stop explaining why you no longer do small talk, waste time, or chase approval. Rockefeller would say, respect doesn't come from explanation. It comes from posture. So change your posture. Move with calm. Move with conviction. And let the results, not your mouth, do the talking. You're not here to be understood. You're here to leave a mark. And real legacy begins the moment you stop justifying and start executing. Asterisk. Let's get something straight. If they're criticizing you, it's probably because you're doing something they're too afraid to try, Rockefeller said. At best, people often attack not what you do wrong, but what you represent. You represent what they gave up on. You remind them of the man they didn't become, and that's why they react. That's why they mock your silence, your schedule, your discipline, because it threatens their comfort. So next time someone questions your path, your ambition, or your new mindset, don't flinch. Don't argue. Smile. Internally. That noise, that judgment, that pushback, it means you're separating yourself. You're leaving the crowd. You're rising above the noise. You're stepping into a version of you that demands more. Napoleon Hill called unjust criticism a disguised form of admiration. And he was right. They're not mad at you. They're mad that your progress exposes their excuses. So stop trying to explain yourself to people who never planned to support you anyway. You were not built for approval. You were built for impact. And impact isn't always liked, it's respected. Rockefeller would say, let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Just don't let them stop you. So let them chatter. Let them doubt. Let them distort your mission. Because while they're wasting energy, you're building a life they'll one day admire quietly. Asterisk. Pain doesn't show up to destroy you. It shows up to shape you, but only if you stop running from it. Rockefeller faced rejection, loss, and public criticism, but he didn't collapse. He converted the pressure into progress. He turned silence into strength. And that's what you must do now. Most people avoid pain. They numb it with distractions. They bury it under busyness. They pretend everything's fine while dying inside. But here's the truth. The pain you avoid today will come back stronger tomorrow. The pain you face with courage becomes the raw material for a legacy. Napoleon Hill said, every adversity carries within it the seed of equal or greater benefit. But that seed only grows in men who stop hiding. So let me ask you, what if your pain wasn't punishment, but preparation? What if that setback was sent to train you, not break you? What if the silence, the rejection, the invisible grind was building something no applause ever could? Rockefeller believed in what he called invisible character, the strength you build when no one's watching. And it's true, waking up early with no praise? That's character. Pushing forward when no one believes? That's legacy in motion. Staying focused while others quit? That's the seed of greatness. Your pain is your teacher. Your scars are your training ground. And the version of you that endures? That's the version the world will one day respect. Rockefeller would tell you today, don't ask life to be easier. Ask to be stronger. Because pain is inevitable, but weakness is optional. So next time it hurts, don't pull back. Don't numb it. Feel it. Face it. Use it. Because what you build in pain becomes the power no one can take from you. *** Rockefeller called it invisible character. It's what you build in silence, when there's no audience, no validation, no applause. It's when you wake up early, no one notices. When you study late, no one claps. When you push through, no one thanks you, but you still do it. Not for attention, not for likes, for legacy. Napoleon Hill said, what you do in the dark is what shines when your time comes. And that's real, because the world rewards results, not excuses. And those results? They're born from quiet persistence. While the weak live for image, the strong live for impact. While others post quotes, you're out here applying them. That's why your discipline matters more than motivation. That's why your habits matter more than hype. Because practice in the dark prepares you for the gears, the favits matter more than hype. Because practice in the dark prepares you for the moment when the spotlight comes. And it will come, but only for those who were ready. Only for those who built something real when no one was watching. Rockefeller didn't chase attention. He chased excellence. He didn't post. He prepared. And he would tell you today, train in silence, build in silence, and let your results speak so loudly they can't be ignored. So if no one sees your effort right now, good, because that means your foundation is being poured deep and solid. And soon, the world won't just notice. It'll respect what it can't deny. ***, they say you've changed. They say you're cold, that you don't talk like you used to, that you're distant now. Good. What they call cold is actually emotional maturity. Rockefeller didn't become great by being emotionally available to everyone. He became great by protecting his peace, and you must do the same. You're not cold, you're selective. You no longer beg for love. You no longer settle for crumbs. You no longer explain your mission to people who don't share your vision, and that's growth. Napoleon Hill said, great leaders master their hearts without losing their soul. You've been hurt. You've been overlooked. You've cried alone while the world moved on, but you didn't quit. You evolved. Now your silence is sacred. Your peace is protected. Your presence is limited and valuable. That's not being cold. That's being wise. You've stopped chasing. You've started choosing. And your energy no longer flows to people who drain it. This is spiritual strategy. Rockefeller would say, I don't explain boundaries. I enforce them with how I live. So don't apologize for protecting your heart. Don't explain your standards. Let your peace speak louder than your posts. Let your posture tell the story, because the man who masters himself doesn't need to raise his voice. He just walks with clarity, and that shakes the world. ***, before every breakthrough, there's a breakdown before the reward. There's a test. Napoleon Hill wrote, life tests the resolve of all men before entrusting them with great responsibilities. That moment when nothing makes sense, when you're working in silence, when you're pushing forward and no one believes in you, that's not the end. That's the test. Rockefeller faced it. The pressure, the rejection, the seasons of silence. And he didn't stop because he understood. The reward never comes before the resistance. And brother, maybe that's where you are now. Maybe you feel tired, invisible, exhausted from the grind. You've sacrificed. You've obeyed the process. And it still feels like nothing's changing. But hear me clearly. That feeling means you're closer than you think. because the finish line never announces itself. It only appears to the man who refuses to quit. Your tears? They're not weakness. Your silence? It's not failure. Your discipline? It's building momentum below the surface. Michael, you're not being ignored. You're being prepared. So, hold the line. Keep your rhythm. Don't flinch. Because the world doesn't reward those who start loud. It honors the ones who stayed when it stopped making sense. And when the test is passed, the doors that felt locked, they fly open. Not by luck, but because you proved you were ready to walk through them. Asterisk, asterisk, you don't need to scream. You don't need to explain. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, because the man who keeps going silently already won. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Silent persistence breaks more barriers than any forceful display." That's what you've been doing. Your calm makes others nervous. Your discipline annoys the distracted. Your quiet evolution makes noise in places you'll never hear. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them misunderstand. While they chase attention, you're building an empire. While they want noise, you want peace. While they keep reacting, you keep rising. Rockefeller didn't dominate because he was the loudest. He dominated because he was the most anchored. In a world of emotional reactions, the one who moves with reason always wins. So keep going. Stay focused. Stay calm. Stay quiet. Let them wonder what you're building. Let them guess how you keep going. Let them fear the day your results speak louder than their criticism. You're not just building wealth. You're building a mind that no failure can shake. And if you've made it this far, you already carry the one thing most men will never develop: unshakable self-command. Rockefeller would say, when you master your interior, the exterior is already conquered. So now breathe deep, walk forward, and remember, the world may not understand you today, but one day it will have no choice but to respect what you built in silence. Asterisk.